What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 91. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011, and today we're flying solo, but we're going to have a good podcast. We're going to be talking a whole lot of wrestling. So, buckle in. Hope you guys are ready to go. If you want to catch the podcast live, you go to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat over there. If you're a sub, join in on the conversation. We'd love to have you. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And last but not least, remember hashtag ad. You get all of your merch over there. Swag, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So yes, another week, another podcast. Like I said, we're going to be talking a whole lot of wrestling today. There was quite a bit that happened this past week. Good, bad, ugly. So we're going to start this thing on the bottom, and we're going to build our way up. we're going to take it that way. So I want to talk, for topic one, I want to talk about the recent batch of WWE releases. Unfortunately, WWE has released more talent this week. I think it was Wednesday that they dropped it, that they were going to be letting these people go. Seems like they are dropping a lot of people as of late, and that's led to a whole slew of rumors that obviously we'll have no idea about until it actually happens or any news does come out. But there were 6 releases. We got released of Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana, Murphy, Ruby Riott, and Santana Garrett. And like many of these releases this year, last year, it's just frustrating. And I think this one was a particularly even more frustrating one. And I'm not sure if it's just because I felt I liked the talent more or whatever it was. But man, it was just hit a sore spot. And I think the reason for that, obviously the talent that has been released is very talented. But a lot of them had stuff going on for the most part. So it just came as a big shock and surprise. And the two that everybody's talking about as the biggest surprise, Braun Strowman and Aleister Black, which I definitely agree are the biggest two or biggest surprise of the 6 that got released here. Obviously, Braun was just in a program. He had the Mania event against Shane in the cell, and then he had, what was it, Backlash. He was in the triple threat for the world title against Lashley and McIntyre. So he was literally just doing something, like main event status, like he was being used. And, you know, if you've been watching WWE for the past however many years he's been around, like, he's been pretty up there, like a high horse that they believe in or, you know, have faith in or want to put in front of our face. And, you know, granted, I was never the biggest Braun fan, but I know there are definitely people out there that love him. And, you know, more power to him. It's just baffling. Now, my only thinking is maybe it was a more amicable split, like he wanted to go, and they kind of granted it because whatever money issues, quote unquote, they're having right now, they figured, you know, okay, he's a bigger one if he wants to go, you know. We like him, so maybe if we let him go, he'll come back eventually. I don't know what the thinking was there, but that's my only educated guess of like why they would let him go. It just doesn't make sense because, like I said, they seem to have all the faith in the world for him and were pushing him. So it's just an odd choice. Another one being Aleister Black. Now, granted, Aleister has been sitting on the sidelines for way too long. Since the whole Zelina thing, and I know he was injured for a little while, so I mean, granted, obviously that time is allocated to that, but he's been kind of on the side, and we don't know. Like I say, it's because of the Zelina stuff. We don't know if fully, you know, that's the reason he was sitting out. We can only speculate, obviously, but he's been sitting out way longer than anyone that talented should. And And the biggest reason it's like a shock and like a what the fuck is because they literally just brought him back. We're doing vignettes on this new character for maybe a month. We bring him back. We kick Big E in the face after that Intercontinental match. We're starting a feud here. 1 week, I think they had 1 week off of SmackDown. They didn't have Alistair or Big E. And then, poof, this happens. Like, such an odd and interesting choice, to say the least. Like, if you're not doing anything with him for that time, why didn't you let him go then? And why did you start something to not even, like, attempt to see it through? You know what I mean? It's just very frustrating. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say exactly about it. It's just very weird. As for the other four, like I said, all very talented. Lana, like, I know she's not everybody's favorite. Definitely has improved in ways. Odd choice to let her go. With her popularity. Murphy's another one, very talented, but like hasn't done anything since the Seth Rollins, Messiah, Rey Mysterio family whole angle. Ruby Riott out of nowhere once again. They were kind of trying to do a story. I don't know if that was just .com, but it's like they lost her and Liv lost the tag match, and then they were like sulking in the back and like, we gotta bounce back and I gotta do more, and then now she's gone. And no offense, but Santana Garrett, I don't know too much about. I don't know if they ever have done really much with her. I know she was in NXT. I don't recall seeing her all that much. Maybe a few enhancement matches here and there. The last thing I remember seeing her in was this past Royal Rumble, the Ladies Rumble. Once again, didn't do all that much. So, like, I don't know her skill set or her accolades, stuff like that. I mean, she must have been hired for a reason. But that's another, like, that one hits me, like, the least, I guess. It's just very odd. Like, obviously you want to sign the talent. It's a whole business move, especially with AEW and Impact's moving up and, you know, New Japan. Like, there's other places they can go. AEW seems to be the biggest knife in the side or whatever. But, like, I don't know. And this is a WWE problem for a while. We have this big roster, talented roster. You know, obviously there's the different levels and tiers of like who's really over, who's not over, who's really talented in the ring, who's really talented in the mic. There's always these tiers and stuff of like, you know, immense locker room they have, whatever. It's just confusing to me. Like, you have this talent. Why not at least attempt something with them? Now, granted, if you're working on stuff in the back to try and help them out or enhance them or whatever it is, great, keep doing that. But, like, there's got to be some kind of timeline here where you're like, you know, it's either working or it's not working kind of thing. And, like, some of these people, especially from these six, we've seen it's already been working. Going back to Alistair, just because personally for me, this is the one of the ones I'm most connected to. We've seen the success of his character before. Obviously in NXT champ. Had a lot of, you know, fanfare there. Him and Ricochet have the Mania weekend of the century with, you know, TakeOver. They have the awesome match with the War Raiders for the tag belts. Unfortunately, didn't capture. You have them, and I believe it was a Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown titles at Mania the same weekend. Like, to the moon, not Cameron Grimes, but, you know, like, you're pushing them so much. And, like, everybody's behind him. And then what do we do with them? It's the whole call-up fiasco that could be a whole topic in itself of, like, you have all this momentum behind people and then you just kill it. It's dead. Why? Where's the translation being lost of, like, this worked here, why can't we make it work here? Now, granted, I get, like, not everybody's gonna work. I know this could be a topic, and I said this could be a topic in itself, but I guess we're going into it. I know not everybody can work. Bo Dallas, unfortunately, the Bo leave thing didn't work, or they didn't commit to him being hated by everybody, because he definitely could be that heel with the Bo leave movement. We had Adam Rose, we tried that whole thing, and then we tried it again with No Way Jose, because fuck it. I get some things are not going to translate, but when something works, just like the saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Just keep it going. If it doesn't work from there, then yeah, make the adjustments, but at least try it. Like, I don't feel they did much with these guys, and it sucks. Like, what are you supposed to do? What do we want to support these people, but then these decisions get made, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? Should I keep watching to support? Should I not watch because I'm upset with what's going on and how they be treated? Who knows? I don't. So that whole thing's frustrating. Now I want to go on a little tangent, a little sidebar here. With the new wave of releases, along with the past ones, with like Samoa Joe leaving and Daniel Bryan leaving and et cetera, et cetera. I love AEW. AEW is great. They were doing what they're doing. It's an alternative. There's positives. There's negatives. Something online, and it could just be the online community, And as soon as people are released, AEW's got to sign him. Tony Khan's got to sign him. Blah, 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 blah. Now, granted, I do want these people to have jobs. I want them to go AEW, New Japan, All Japan, Impact, Ring of Honor, NWA, wherever they can go. Yes, of course, I want them to have a job, be successful, go do your thing. They're like, sign everybody, just scoop them up. We can't do that. Like, if you do that, I get it. Sign people, yeah, because they're names. They're going to bring more people over, maybe, or at least like hype things up, keep things fresh, keep things exciting. I think that's something AEW, while it's awesome, the surprise factor, it's something they need to be careful of signing too many people. Not because they're WWE guys, not that. I don't care. I could care less. The fact of like, they also have a decent sized roster. Have faith in the people you have there. And to be honest, AEW's done a pretty good job of building some people. Others not so much. I know the women's division, people are still hit or miss on, at least in the depth perception. Like, obviously Bret's great. Obviously Thunder Rose is great, technically signed NWA. Like, we know Nyla's great. We know Riho's great. We know Sheeta's great. Like, there's a handful. But, like, if you start going farther down the line, it's like, I don't know. And granted, you could say that about WWE too, maybe the main roster, but I feel NXT has a better grasp of that, at least right now. With the guys, it's the same. Like, they've been doing a pretty good job of building, like, what's their tag teams or whatever. I just don't want them to hire everybody, like people are saying online, and then people get lost in the shuffle, because I feel it's going to be a same problem that WWE has. Like I said, you have such a big roster. At some point, somebody's not going to be used, or they're just going to be sitting there. Now, I'm not saying like, everybody's got to do something at every single minute. No. But you can play the game of like, let's pull this talent in, let's pull this talent in, let's give them a break to rest up. Like, you got to mix and match those puzzle pieces at the correct times. But if you just use these 6 people over and over and over again, well, what are the other 4 doing? Or whatever number it is, So I just want them, while the new talent would be great, as we just saw with Andrade showing up literally last night as of recording, it's going to bring news and, ICU program and stuff like that, excitement. But, like, have faith in the people that have been there as well, too. Use them. So, pretty much, I guess, main thought with that is, yes, if you have a place where you think this person would be good, yes, sign them, sure. But don't just be scooping up everybody because you can, if that makes sense. Spread the wealth sounds weird because, like, AEW's not deciding, like, I want this one, but I don't want that one. You can have them. Like, I want to see them, all 6 of these people and the other people released, who will probably be showing up within the month, I think, at least the second batch, like, disperse. Like, out of the 6, like, if I had to make predictions, if I'm understanding and seeing things correctly, which not a chance in hell that I am, but Braun, I think, is chilling. I think Braun's relaxing. Maybe he just wants to do something different. Maybe he doesn't want to wrestle. Maybe he does. I don't know 100% on him. So I'm not going to give a prediction on him. Alistair, I could see definitely going AEW with Zelina. Boom. Go over there. Lana, probably same thing because Miro's over there. Makes sense. Murphy, I saw somebody recommend maybe him going to New Japan, working with the junior heavyweights over there. I think that would be cool. Ruby Riott, I think, is an Impact one. She's also got connections there. I think she's in a relationship with Joe something, I think the wrestler's name is, or gimmick. So that could make sense. Also, they have a strong ladies division. She could help that there. Santana, I don't know much about, so Ring of Honor or maybe Mission Pro. Who knows? I don't. So, like, at least for this group, I can see them kind of going different ways. As for, like, past releases with Joe, with Brian, with the Iconics, like, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Like, Iconics especially. Do they go the AEW route because Cassie and Shawn Spears are a thing? Or do they go the Impact route because they have the ladies tag titles there? That's a tough one. Don't know 100%. Hard to say. So yeah, it's just, overall, it's a big shame. It's a shame that they had to let these talents go. And I mean, like, if it was legit for money reasons, fine. The biggest what the fuck is, like, why did you start something with people and then just ditch them? Like, I'm sure there's other people just sitting in the back that haven't been doing anything for months, maybe even years. What are we doing here? What are we doing? So if it is legit a money thing, okay, I get it. That's just my biggest question. If it's this whole rumor thing about selling, that's a whole nother skeleton in the closet thing that I don't want to think about right now. I don't know. The only thing we can do really from now and in here is just eyes and ears open, see where this talent does go in 90 days, wish them the best of luck, and then, yeah, just kind of take it one step at a time. Hopefully, product turns around, things get better everywhere. I don't know. But yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Like, once again, why neither not keep the ball rolling or try something at least with these people? I don't know. That's all I got. I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on the releases that have happened. Hopefully there's not more on the way. Hopefully this is the last we hear of it for the year. God, I hope so. Moving on to topic 2, I wanted to talk about shifting over from WWE to AEW. I want to talk about Double or Nothing 2021 that happened as of recording this past Sunday. I want to talk about the matches real quick, my thoughts overall on what went down, what was good, what was bad. Well, not bad, but just things I kind of questioned. So in total, we had 10 matches in total. One was part of the pre-show. I'll just run through them all quickly right now. Pre-show was Serena Deeb defeating Riho. We had Hangman Page versus Brian Cage. We had the Young Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston. Jungle Boy. Well, we had the Casino Battle Royale, excuse me. We had Cody versus Anthony Ogogo. We had Miro defending his AEW TNT Championship against Lance Archer. We had Britt Baker challenging Hikaru Shida for the women's title. We had Darby and Sting tagging against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. We had Kenny Omega defending against Orange Cassidy and Pac for the World Championship. And then we had the Inner Circle against the Pinnacle with the inner circle stipulation that they couldn't tag together anymore if they lost. So yeah, those were 10 matches. I think the event came all together without the pre-show. It was almost 4 hours in time. So everybody got a good amount of time in their matches, which was great. Nobody felt rushed. Personally, I didn't think any match felt super duper long or extended. I just said that. Maybe one did, but I think that was more of a personal thing, personal preference or whatever. So yeah, I did not watch the buy-in. I did not watch the pre-show. So Deeb and Riho, I'm not sure exactly how their match went, but I'm sure it was great. It was for the NWA World Women's Championship, by the way. So Deeb did retain that title. So good for her. I'm sure those ladies crushed it and had a great match. So we move into the event itself. We had Hangman Page opening with Brian Cage. I thought it was for the FTW belt. Apparently it wasn't. So, okay. These guys had a good match. We have a little drama with Team Taz and Brian Cage going on as Ricky Starks and Hook tried to help out. Didn't work out in Cage's favor. Hangman won with the buckshot lariat after the distraction. Like I said, match was fine. I was really excited for Hangman to win because, once again, I thought going in it was for the FTW belt. I must have misheard. I was doing something else at the same time while I had it on. So that's on me. But I thought that would have been huge if he did win the title belt. But once again, good win. No Dark Order at all in this match. So cool, I guess. Hangman just doing it on his own. Well, it's interesting. We'll have to see where Cage and Team Taz go from here. If obviously it's going to cause some drama and distrust between the group. But we had that. So good opener. Move on to the tag title match. We have the Young Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston. These guys crushed it as well. No big surprise there. It's the Bucks in a tag match. Yeah, I thought they made a pretty strong effort to make it seem like Mox and Kingston would win. I think Cutler did interfere at one point. Shocker, shocker, surprise, surprise. Don't think there was a Good Brothers appearance, if I'm recalling correctly. Callis was on commentary, so he didn't interfere. Yikes, a week later. You think I would remember these a little bit better. Maybe not. But solid match throughout. Yeah, like I said, we did have that one interference by Cutler, but good match by all those guys. Pinfall there. Casino Battle Royale was next. This was exciting. This was fun just because it is always that mystery element of who's going to show up with the Joker card. Being a big fat random. So we had the clubs first. Clubs consisted of 5 superstars. We had Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dustin Rhodes, and Max Caster. Followed by the Diamonds, Isaiah Cassidy, Matt Hardy, Preston Ten Vance, Nick Camarado, and Serpentico, replacing, I think, the Blade because he was injured. We had the Hearts group come out, Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, Colt Cabana, Anthony Bowens, and Penta El Zero Miedo. The Spades came out last. Jungle Boy, Mark Quinn, Aaron Solo, Evil Uno, and Lee Johnson. I think Solo replaced somebody as well due to injury. And then the Joker, our big surprise, was none other than New Japan's Leo Rush. Cool surprise, not going to lie. Wasn't the biggest surprise that they've had, but it was cool to see. I think Leo did a good job. He got a decent pop. The only thing, Leo seemed to rush a lot, and not, no pun intended. He seemed to rush through everything. He went through a sequence with Hardy. He was doing some, fast movements, a lot of rolls to avoid other wrestlers, etc., etc. He goes with Hardy and does some strikes, and he's going to do his signature where he springs off the bottom rope, comes up, and does the stunner. He slipped on the bottom rope or didn't get enough of a leverage point for himself to spring up properly. They kind of scratched it in a panic, not really, but in the moment, to kind of improvise. He did a lot of quick palm strikes, elbows, etc. to reset. He does it, goes for it again on his own effort instead of the Irish whip from the first one. Still, he hits the spring, but comes up, and Matt either wasn't ready or he wasn't reaching high enough. Stunner didn't look super great. So that's the only kind of downside I would say of this this surprise. After that, he was eliminated shortly after. So it was kind of like a very flash in the pan moment of like, oh, well, here he is, there he goes. Like, it was very, very quick. He didn't even make it into the final 4. I think he was just shy of it. The last ones ended up being Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Jungle Boy, and Christian Cage. So we had the Hardy family office working together against Cage and Jungle Boy. Private Party ended up getting thrown out, followed by Hardy. Ended up with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy, which these guys did really well. A very dramatic finish, very exciting. Jungle Boy ends up taking the win overall, so he's now #1 contender, gets a title shot for the AEW World title from the winner. I think they announced that. It's going to be a Saturday coming up soon. So that's exciting. It's exciting to see Jungle Boy get this push. Obviously, we saw the great TNT title match with him and I believe it was Cody a few months ago. Cool to see that. Cool to see him getting this push. Do I think he will win? Most likely not, but it's still a great opportunity for him to obviously keep doing what he's doing and, crush it. So, good for him. Let's see. So, after the Battle Royale, we had Cody and Anthony Ogogo. This was probably my low point for the pay-per-view. If I'm being honest, maybe either the low point or like the second to low point. And maybe it's just me. I'm not the biggest Cody fan. I respect what he does. I like his entrance music a lot. I'm not going to lie. But like, I'm not like, woo, go for it all behind him. I understand the result, but I could see why people are kind of upset with it. So Cody went over clean with a pinfall. Ogogo is wrestling with injured ribs, so they kind of play on that, work those a little bit. Ogogo building up to this match, obviously he's been knocking people out with like, I think it's a gut punch, just bam, one done. We know he's got the boxing background. He does that, wins the matches. Obviously that wasn't going to happen here, unless we were going big surprise. I get we weren't going to do that here. I think the reason people were upset because they wanted Ogogo to go over. Now, I can understand why we'd want that. We have these just, once again, one-shot matches for like 3 weeks. As a new talent, you want to just establish them. You want to push them, right? Make them more of a threat. Make them, people believe in them. I get that. I get that for building purposes. I also understand why they went the route with Cody winning. There's some things online, not that that means anything, of the whole Memorial Day thing, country, blah, blah, blah. If that's the case, that's dumb. But I get it because, like, Cody's a vet, right? He's been wrestling for, God, I don't know how long. He can obviously take the shots from Ogogo. That's fine. Take your bruises, take your hits. But, like, the experience should factor into that. So I think that makes sense of like why Cody won this over Ogogo. Is that going to affect Anthony's momentum? Sure, hopefully not too much, so that this is also just a flash in the pan that doesn't really work out because like what do they just call themselves? The Factory, QT's group, whatever they are. We got to build them up too. Like we can't just be like, the fire starts and then we immediately stamp it out. Like there's got to be something going on here. You got to give them a couple wins in order for Cody, Dustin, the Gun Club, like those guys to have something to go against and tackle, kind of thing. So, match is fine. Results questionable up in there. Like I could see both ways. Just have to wait it out and see. Next match is also in my lower bracket of Miro defeating Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. Nothing against the end result. I think the end result was smart because Miro literally just won this title. So build him up. Good. It was by a submission. He did the accolade or whatever he's calling his submission now. Lance never tapped out. Lance passed out. Never, didn't give up. So he still is strong in the fact of like, He didn't, under his own will, give up. He passed out. Ref had to call it. Fine. Match was okay. All good there. We had Jake Roberts come in and interfere at one point. Now, the point of at this point in the pay-per-view, it seemed like a lot of interference from the back. Now, looking at the title card here, that would be 2 matches before with interference. So Paige Cage, we had the interference by Hook and Starks. Bucks and Mox and Kingston, we had the interference by Cutler. Then we get I don't remember Cody and Ogogo having interference. I could be wrong by that. Nightmare Crew could have come out. I think no, because the Camarado with the bell was in the Battle Royale. So yeah, I can't 100% say on that match, but at least 2 we had interference from the back. So now you're adding a third with Jake with Jake showing up for Lance and Miro. I don't know. Kind of irked me there. So I would put that towards my bottom as well. Whatever. Is what it is. Like I said, smart finish. Both men look strong. We can move on from there. Next was the ladies. Britt Baker taking on Shida. Excuse me. Ladies crushed it. Great match. New champion Britt Baker. Like a lot of people could see that. I think if not everybody, a lot of people could see that coming. Pretty predictable in the outcome, but the match was very good. The ladies did a great job there. By submission, so clean there. Obviously, Britt's been crushing it this past few months, whether it was with Thunder Rosa or just obviously doing her own thing. So good on her. Hope for nothing but the best for her. And it's going to be interesting having that heel champion now. See who rises up to face her next, whether it's going to be Shida. It seems like she's doing a restart via Twitter for her character. I don't know if Riho's going to bounce back up or if Thunder Rosa's going to come back in after getting her clean win on that unsanctioned match. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Either maybe somebody new. I don't know if Statlander's... Obviously, she's a face, but I don't know if she's doing anything other than the best friend thing. Like, questionable where we're going to go from there, but it's going to be interesting. I think it's a strong move to put the belt on her. She's obviously a great character, very strong character. So I think anybody she works with, it will just raise them up. Tag team match, we had Darby Allin and Sting defeating the Men of the Year, officially getting their tag team title or tag team name. Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky. Another good match. Great to see Sting out there doing his thing. Seems healthy. Especially since like last we saw him wrestle with Seth, like nothing you can really do about that. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but glad to see him back in the ring doing his thing, doing it well, and being entertaining. It was just a fun match. Obviously no big implications are going to come out of it as far as I know. I think it was just a nice match for Sting. Is this the end for Sting? At the moment doesn't seem like it. Could have been and a good ending. Yeah, I think so. If he never decided to wrestle again, like that was a solid one. But like I said, didn't seem to be any issues during the match for him, whatever it is. So like if he still wanted to do it, I could see it. Totally fine. Good match. Glad for him. Glad for Sting. Glad for Sting. Just a nice feel-good moment. Now my match of the night personally was the triple threat for the world title. Kenny Omega defeating Orange Cassidy and Pac by pinfall. This match was great. These guys crushed their triple threat. I think this is one of the best triple threats I've ever seen, personally. We did the typical, 2 at a time at the beginning with somebody getting thrown out. But building to that end with those false finishes, man, these guys were going at it. And, they did a great job of storytelling. At this point, I don't think we're at the pinnacle of, now we can start the downturn, we haven't reached the point where we can get the rewarding, oh my God, we're defeating Kenny. He still has to hold on to these belts for a little bit longer, if not collect more. but they made it believable that, like, at least Orange was going to win. And that was great. We could get invested and get behind him. But yeah, just the series of moves towards the end and the drama there of like, oh shit, this person's going to win. Oh my God, they hit this thing. They're going to win. Kenny's using the belts. Like, it's over. Nice touch there. Don't think there was any interference besides Callis and the belts being used towards the end of the match because the ref was knocked out. That was a nice touch that we're using all 4 belts, AAA, Impact, TNA, and obviously the AEW title. That was a nice touch. Honestly, there's just no DQ in triple threats anyway, so never mind there. But yeah, that was great. We also get the replacement ref coming in, counting clean, so there's a little drama there. I don't think it was a fast count by Aubrey, but you got to see Kenny running at the end too. That kind of scared shit heel move. So dominant performance by him in the match, but still shows obviously he has the weaknesses there where he felt threatened or felt like, oh shit, I'm going to lose right now. All 3 men look great. Like I said, great match, good flow, good storytelling. Really, really fun. My top match of the night. Maybe my most favorite triple threat. Fantastic by all those guys. We get to the main event. It was Pinnacle versus Inner Circle, with Inner Circle defeating the Pinnacle in the Stadium Stampede match. Pretty entertaining. Looking at this article here, 31 minutes and 30 seconds. Longest match of the night. Holy shit. Certainly didn't feel like a half-hour match. But goddamn. A lot to this match. Obviously cinematic. A lot happening there. We had some fun cameos. We had the Jaguars coach in there. Not that I really care about football stuff. We had Conan showing up, helping out LAX. We had Tony Khan's dad showing up in standee form, which was a nice, fun little thing. I think the guys did great. It was entertaining. I wasn't the most engaged in it personally, just because wasn't my thing. Cinematic matches are like 50-50 for me. Like, either I'm really into it or it's like, this is cool, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not biting my nails over it. It was fun. They ended in the arena, which was smart, and it was cool to see like those different cinematic story elements like all converge, if that makes sense. Cool to see Sammy get the win, so obviously elevate him up, especially after the drama of him quitting Inner Circle, but then doing the swerve. So cool to see that. I wasn't sure how this was going to play out heading into it. I wasn't sure if it would be more beneficial if Inner Circle split up to let, Santana Ortiz go do their thing and etc. But they're still around. Will this lead to another match between the groups? I hope not, just because repetition, but maybe because they each got one win. We'll have to see. But it was a fun match. All the guys did great in that one. Yeah. So those are all the matches. We did have one other surprise, other than the Battle Royale, Casino Battle Royale. We had a quick announcement, very quick announcement, just before the main event, I believe. Yes. Tony Schiavone came out to the ring. Random announcement that they're going to have a new analyst for the upcoming show Rampage. Mark Henry joining AEW officially. This was a big surprise just because it was hush all around. There was, speculation just based on Busted Open, for example. Mark sounded like he wanted to get back into wrestling a little bit. Obviously, he's been doing some kind of talent scouting for WWE with Bianca. And I think he had something to do with Jade, maybe too, in AEW. I don't know. Fully there. But he's going to be over there being the analysis for Rampage. We heard him last night on TV saying he's just here to tighten the screws, just kind of help out there. He's not going to plan on changing anything. So I think it's cool. More experience there. Once again, going back to the last topic, is just like, as long as you're investing in the talent that's already been there, you know, focusing on making them better, I'm all for it. Why not? Sure. You know, why not use these resources that especially have all these years of experience and share it, you know, as long as you're not gobbling it up all for yourself, the spotlight or whatever it is, then let's do it, you know, kind of thing. So that was Double or Nothing. My thoughts on that. Great show overall. Definitely excited to see where things go from here. Who's challenging who moves up. Like I said, the Jungle Boy match, I don't have a lot of faith in Jungle Boy obviously winning that match, but I'm very excited for him with the momentum to get, you know, see his stock raise. A little selfishly disappointed because I want Jurassic Express to do more, but it seems like obviously Jungle Boy's got the got the torch. Let him run with it, you know. Hopefully that tag team can be elevated once again afterwards, but if he's doing his thing, let him do his thing. He's definitely deserving of it from what he's shown in his in-ring work. So not a lot of faith he'll win that one, but I'm sure he'll have a good showing on that Saturday whenever that does occur. You could probably check that out on the Google and look it up when it is, because it has been announced. But yeah. So yes, there's topic 2 wrapped in a nice neat bow. Moving on to topic 3. I wanted to quickly talk about AEW Elite GM, the mobile game. Aubrey and the team had announced beta testing and on Twitter, and they had like a little forum you could sign up for it and have the opportunity to try and play. I didn't get in the initial wave, but when FanFest happened on Saturday of Double or Nothing weekend, they released, I think, 6,000 more codes or invited them in. I was part of that, so I was lucky enough to play this game for about a week. Not a whole ton of personal time played. Like, I think I played a lot Sunday, Monday, but then it was kind of hit or miss the rest of the week. It's a fun game, fun experience. I think they're doing a great job with it. There's definitely certain aspects that, like, are from SmackDown versus Raw 06 through 08 or whenever GM mode was active, which is fine because that's what, you know, people want. People wanted those game modes in the 2K games for a while, and now we're getting it obviously in from a different company, and it's fun. It's fun. I selfishly wish it wasn't only a mobile game. I wish they'd port this either to PC or to consoles. The phone, it works. It's simplistic in that aspect, but like with the screen being so small, it's like some things I have to, like, there's a lot of small text and whatnot to focus on, but overall the experience is a lot of fun. So with the beta, how it works, or at least what we saw, there was a Discord that you can go into and kind of talk about suggestions or problems you were having. I personally never popped in over there. I think it's still active, might sign in there just to see what people thought and their thoughts that they were sharing. So they had the Discord. They have multiplayer matches that you could play. You could play online, or I think you can play online. I don't know if it was active at the moment. Or you can do, you might be able to do local. I think it's still online. Like, you can't use the same phone. But you can do matches against other people, so you can go head-to-head, which is neat to do. Other than that, there is solo stuff you can do. So that was mainly my experience with the game, was doing the single-player stuff. So they have what's called campaign mode, which is 10 different sessions. And essentially, these 10 different sessions are challenges that are essentially teaching you the mechanics of the game. How to set up a show, what's morale, what's the strength, what's the different stats, the money, the fans, etc. That you need to focus on. So there's 3 big things on the top that you need to focus on. You have your money, you have your fans, and then I think it was an average morale that you have for your roster. Each individual has a bunch of stats. They have their energy levels, they had strength, they had speed, they had their morale. I think there was one other thing, but I'm blanking on it. But these are different factors that can affect, obviously, when they're going to get injured, how they're going to perform in matches, how they're going to affect your fan gain, or whatever it is. So those are the things you can kind of focus on in the game that you want to build, whatever it is. So you had that campaign mode, 10 kind of introductory things that you can do. Second, there was a challenge mode, which I didn't experiment with too much, to be honest. But there were different, like, hypothetical scenarios. So, for example, there's one about Brandon Cutler. Let's make Brandon Cutler the world champion. You get 4 weeks, and you want to see if you can build him up to become world champion. There was one for tag teams, making a great tag team card. There was one for beat this AI with money and fans in 2 weeks. There was a 1-week challenge where just make the best show you can, and like they had certain objectives you wanted to reach. Those were cool to see that they obviously had that variety in gameplay. And then last out of the 3 main ones, there was an endless mode. Now, endless mode was the most intriguing to me. So you have a starting cash value, I think it was 200,000. You have your starting fans, whatever. You take that 200,000 and you get the roster. And you look through and, you know, you get the roster, and then you go from there to make your matches. Speaking of roster, big roster. They had a lot of people, including this game. Excuse me one second. A lot of people in this game. I think they were consistently adding more and more as the week went on, that I personally had time with it, which was cool. So right now I'm going to go through the entire roster, at least that what I had seen as of last night, Friday the 4th, just before they had shut down the beta. So it should be the entire roster from the beta part. Will they add more? Let's see. So, roster. Some of these characters did not have character art. They were just a silhouette. I'll let you guys know who that was at the very end. So, roster. This is in alphabetical. We had 10. Aaron Solo, Adam Page, Alan Angels, Alex Reynolds, Angelico, Anthony Bowens, Austin Gunn, Bear Boulder, Bear Bronson, Big Swole, Billy Gunn, Brandy Rhodes, Brandon Cutler, Brian Cage, Britt Baker, Brody Lee, Cash Wheeler, Chris Jericho, Christian Cage, Chuck Taylor, Cody Rhodes, Colt Cabana, Colton Gunn, Christopher Daniels, Danny Limelight, Dante Martin, Darius Martin, Darby Allin, Dax Hardwood, Diamante, Dustin Rhodes, Eddie Kingston, Emi Sakura, Ethan Page, Evil Uno, Frankie Kazarian, Griff Garrison, Hikaru Shida, Isaiah Cassie, Jack Evans, Jade Cargill, Jake Hagar, Joey Janela, John Silver, John Moxley, Jungle Boy, Kenny Omega, Kip Sabian, Chris Statlander, Lance Archer, Lee Johnson, Leva Bates, Layla Hirsch, Marco Stunt, Mark Quinn, Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson, Matt Seidel, Max Caster, Michael Nakazawa, Miro, Nick Camarado, Nick Jackson, Orange Cassidy, Ortiz, Pac, Penelope Ford, Peter Avalon, QT Marshall, Red Velvet, Ray Phoenix, Ricky Starks, Rio Mizunami, sorry if I mispronounced that, Sammy Guevara, Santana, Scorpio Sky, Serena Deeb, Sean Spears, Sonny Kiss, Sting, Stu Grayson, Tay Conti, The Blade, The Butcher, Trent Wardlow, Will Hobbs, and Yuka Sakazaki. A lot of people, as you can tell, a lot of people. Not all those people I recognized from earlier when I played in the week. Like I said, they kept adding people, so that was cool. They had a handful that did not have art for their characters. Ryo Miyazanami did not have art. Aaron Solo, Alex Reynolds, Angelico, Austin Gunn, Billy Gunn, Christian Cage, Christopher Daniels, Diamante, Emi Sakura, Ethan Page, Griff Garrison, Jack Evans, Jade Cargill, John Silver, Kip Sabian, Lance Archer, Michael Nakazawa, Miro, Nick Camarado, and QT Marshall. So, big ass roster. So you get all of them to pick from for your endless run. So you get your 200K. So with my gameplay, how I was trying to tackle things, you get 3 matches. So unlike SmackDown versus Raw, where you have, if it's Raw, for example, you get the 6 matches and the 2 promo spots. In this game, you would get 3 matches and 1 promo spot that you use. What I was trying to do, or what I aim to do, when I would always start with my starting roster, is I would get 2 ladies, 2 tag teams, 2 singles. From there, based on the cash they had, you need certain cash for matches. So single matches were 10K, tag team matches were 20K. That's what I can remember off the top of my head. They had singles, tag team, 3v3, fatal 4-way, 2v2v2. I think there was a 4v4 and there was a 5v5. No triple threats, no managers, no 6-man. Well, actually 6-man might have been on there. I might have lied. Yeah, there has to be an even amount. The way the animations go and how they interact has to be an even number. So the way I would organize it would be, like I said, 2 ladies, 2 tag teams, 2 guys. So go from there, dude. Week 1, just organize it. Promo wise, there was a bunch of different ones. There was one like hospitality, which would increase stats. There was like an on-stage promo. There was a backstage pull apart. A whole bunch of options there that would either increase fans or increase the stats of your roster, morale, etc., etc. So you'd organize it by that. Then from there, you get your money, you get your fans. You can see those stats going up and down. As you continue, you can build your roster, obviously, with the money you do have, or do more fancy matches. I did not see, personally, maybe I missed it, I did not see, like, specialty matches. I didn't see Steel Cage. I didn't see Ladder. Didn't see, not War Games, whatever they're calling. I can't remember the double cage, whatever they called that. Blood and Guts. Didn't see Stadium Stampede. That would be an interesting one to see. Didn't see any of those. So had the matches worked out, you pretty much drag and drop from your roster who you want in there. Very, very simple. It would show you a likely winner for the match. So you could obviously either play that game of like, oh, I want to push Lance Archer, for example. Maybe I don't match him against X. I have to match him against Y. If you wanted to add to their stats to try and help them win, whether they were on the negative side or they're still likely to win, you could add gimmicks, is what they call it. So you had 4 choices from what I saw, at least at the time. You had a chair, you had a barbed wire bat, you had a car, and then you had, I think it was a kendo stick. You could give those to one of the characters or both and throw that in there, and obviously that would increase the value of the match too, just because of the gimmicks involved. So you'd go from there. Like I said, you keep adding to your roster, switch it in, whatever. The one flaw I personally saw with Endless Mode is it was just me. There was no computer to go against, which is kind of the whole point of single player, is like, I want some kind of challenge. So the CPU, like, I don't want to go online PvP and have to wait for the person, or maybe connection doesn't work, or I don't know if there's text chat or whatever, but like deal with toxic people. I just want to play the game, want to enjoy it. So if there's not that challenge of the computer, it's like, what's the point? I'm just dragging things here randomly. Ooh, I get to see numbers go up. That's great, but if the numbers don't mean anything because don't have that challenge, it's like, what's the point? So yeah, I think Endless Mode is where I'm going to spend a lot of my time if they add the opposite computer to kind of compete against, if that makes sense. In the challenge mode and in the campaign, those 10 missions, there was a computer that you would go against. I remember one of the later campaigns, it was either 9 or 10. It was 4 weeks, and you have 3 objectives. 250,000 fans. No, 250,000 total money left over by week 4. Like 1.5 million fans, and the morale average has to be like 70. I don't fucking remember. But you had to meet those. That was fun. Was the computer super challenging? No. And also, you didn't get to see what show they put on. Like, what were their high points, what were their low points. So, making the matches part all fun. I thought everybody in the roster had fair income amounts that I never felt like, oh, this is egregious. It's just one flat rate. It's not like SmackDown versus Raw where it's like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year contract. And granted, this is all the beta, so I don't know if obviously with the official release, whenever that is, if these things will be enhanced. This is probably just maybe a technical beta of like making sure things run, how do people play, what's good, what's bad, etc. So yeah, there's that. They did mention in like the intro, or I don't know if it was the email at the start, that they are planning on having both shows. So there will be Dynamite and there will be Dark. So I don't know if like those would be the shows competing against each other. Like one person runs Dynamite, one person runs Dark, and those go head to head. That could be the case. So there's that. Another thing I noticed with the campaign part, I wasn't limited on roster. So for example, like in the SmackDown vs. Raws, you would do the draft, right? And you could either do it, one person picks everybody, I think, or the like scattered style. I don't fucking know. There was no draft, so like you weren't like, oh, I'm planning on grabbing Moxley, and I grabbed Kenny Omega this round, and then oh, Moxley's gone because the computer picked him. There wasn't ever that like threatening aspect of like, shit, there goes my plan. Now I gotta rewrite everything once again. It was probably more of a technical beta, making sure everything runs, but that wasn't there at the moment. So hopefully that gets implemented of just like the draft process, and then it's a little bit more competitive there, and then you can get the whole trades. Who's to say? I don't know what they're planning on adding, obviously, or what their future plans are, but I can just share what I obviously saw. Yeah, there are. I think there was ranked leagues. I think I saw that at a bar that was locked at the moment. There's profile leveling up, which you can fully customize your avatar for online. You pick a wrestler from the roster, and then you can add like headgear or different gimmicks that they're holding on to. So there's that fun little aspect to it. You can also unlock things to use in your matches, I believe, for gimmicks. Like I had one I randomly unlocked was a milk carton. I don't know why, but that was there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this game evolves from this point. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I did notice I don't know if it's just my phone, but my phone's battery drained quite fast while playing it, so I wasn't able to play super long at one point unless I was plugged in. Does generate a lot of heat as well, but you know, most mobile games do, unfortunately, just because it's a lot of processing power. I did have a couple of crashes while things were going on, whether it's loading or just getting stuck in a menu. Other than that, not much. Usually a restart of the app helped. I did mention some of the characters not having character art. I'm not sure if this was on purpose because either the art wasn't released yet or whatever it was, or if it was a bug there. So certain characters, for example, I mentioned my method of like 2 ladies, 2 guys, and the 2 tag teams. I kind of messed around with different like roster members that I would grab. There would be a couple times where I would pick roster members, for example, Luther from what's the group's name? Chaos Project. I would grab him, put him with Serpentico. Serpentico's art was not released at the time, but Luther's was, and I would have them in the match, but Luther would still appear the silhouette, so bugs happen, whatever, not that big a deal. Something that I was surprised about is like people I expected to win, or they said was likely to win, the other team would win. So there is still that random element in there, which is fun. If you really want to sway it, once again, use the gimmicks. That will definitely help you out. But there's that. It does give your performance per match too, which is a nice way to kind of, you know, see how things are, see how your matchmaking is, whether it's the talent themselves or maybe the order. Like I had a lot of tag team matches that were like dominating the night with fan gain and money gain. So that's a fun little thing you can kind of mess around with. I wonder if in the full release they'll have more than 3 matches at a time, especially when your roster does get bigger. Like you just don't want to throw 6-mans all the time. Like having more matches to kind of build. And I also wonder if they're going to do, similar to SmackDown vs. Raw, the storyline angle, whether it's setting it up manually, like the generic storyline of X hates Y because blah. This is their rivalry for however many weeks you can make it work, and then it gets stale. I wonder if they're going to do that, or if it's just have fun, throw people in there. I want them to add these things. Like, I don't want it to just be a carbon copy of SmackDown versus Raw's GM mode. I want them to add their own flair to it, and I think the gimmicks help that. I think the different in-between segments help that. The presentation's simple with them fighting against each other. That's fine. It's quick, easy. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like I said, what they add, what they modify, when official release is. I don't know if they've actually announced an official release as of recording this. Hopefully soonish. Like I said, everything for the most part ran well. Couple crashes here and there, but it seems like, you know, the nuts and bolts are there. So hopefully they can make it work. Hopefully there's a port for PC and console and play. I doubt it. That's just a high wish for me, but it was a good time. It was a good time. If you guys have the chance, if you're interested at all, if you have the chance to get it, I mean, it's a free game. Just download it, give it a shot. If you like it, great. If not, you know, at least there's something to give a shot and give a try to, and at least they put their effort into it. So there's that. But yeah, it was a good time playing Elite GM. I appreciate the beta code provided in the invite. It was a blast, and looking forward to the full product. Well, guys, this has been another episode of the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching today. If you want to catch it live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. What's live over there, you can join in the chat if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. And go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And last but not least, #ad merch store and get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So yes, another episode in the books. I appreciate you guys hanging out for another wrestling talk. Let me know what your thoughts are on the releases, the pay-per-view, and the game if you got a chance to play it and get your hands on it. But yes, we will appreciate you guys watching and listening. We will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.